Okay, so here's the next step. It may seem a little tricky, but it's not. We're going to create something called artboards. What artboards are completely different files within the same file. So I can make separate files with their own layers within the same file, as many as I like. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a design for our iPad. We're going to do it using Artboard. Your Artboard tool is right here where your Move tool is. See a little triangle in the bottom right hand corner? That means there's more tools in there. So click and hold, target Artboard tool, and you're going to get this little symbol here. But look right up here. You have options on your options bar. So it says Custom Now. Click it down, and guess what? iPad, iPad Pro, iPad Retina. These are some dimensions for those. And, web most common, web minimum, web small, iOS 7 iPad, 7 Spotlight, Mac icons, and so forth. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just choose the iPad 2.5 inch, 10.5 inch. And I'm going to just zoom this page down just a little bit. So Control minus. And I'm going to hold the space bar to move that on over. Now I'm going to click and drag and release. Okay, so what it's done is it's allowed me to put in a custom artboard. So inside this artboard are going to have its own layers and all. So if you take a look here in my document, I created a brand new artboard right on the very top of my document here. So I'll leave it there for now, but I want to make sure that this is the size that I want. Now if we go back into Bridge, let's see, what do we have for iPad documents? I think this is one here. Yeah, 768 by 1024. So let's go with that dimension. That's a pretty good dimension. I'm gonna go back. I'm hitting Command or Control Shift and O. It's a toggle between Bridge and Photoshop. So Command or Control and Shift held down together, then hit O on your keyboard. So to change this, you have to have your Properties panel here. So look in your Properties panel, make sure that your Artboard tool is selected, and it is. And right down here it's giving me dimensions. Now here's my pixels. So I want a width of 768, right? So I'm going to select it, 768. Make sure PX is at the end, and then I'm on 1024. 1024. There. Now in relationship to my document, that is what it's going to look like. Okay. All right. So let's come back and take a look at this. It's my body. Now there's my background too. Okay, looks like this has been kind of navigated upwards a little bit. Let's bring the background also. Let's see if we take this out of that document, pull it all the way to the bottom here. See if I can actually accomplish that. There we go. But that's doing something a little different. So I'm going to duplicate it. So Command J. All right. And then we'll worry about the background later. Now let's go ahead and create another artboard. And we want this one to be for the phone. So go to my artboard symbol. I'm just going to draw it out custom for now. And now what I want to do is get the dimensions that I need. So I'm going to go back to my Bridge and take a look at some of the cell phone dimensions. And I believe, let's go take a look at these here. All right, so we got a 640 by, now this is the iPhone 5, 6. So I would say I'm going to go with this 640 by 1130 or 600 by 1024. 640 by 1024. That's what I'll do. 640 by 1024 just to be safe. Go back into Photoshop. go to my properties panel for this. And let's go with 600 by 1,000. I'm going to be extra cautious here. No, yeah, I'll go by 1,000. And that's way too long. Let's go with what I suspected. Let's go here to 400 by 640. There we go. All right, so there we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to design documents for each of these formats here. Okay, so inside the Urbana, what I've done is I've gone ahead and brought in a black adjustment layer for the overall document. So you can see I have the black background back for this one, but these are going to be white. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in there, right down here. See the Artboard one? In fact, why don't we call this one iPad? Keep it organized. Okay, that's iPad, and let's call this one cell phone. All right, and inside the iPad now, when I cascade this up, this is the entire document, that iPad. It looks like a layer. It's not a layer. It's an artboard. It's a completely separate document. To cascade up to the cell phone as well. So there's a completely separate file embedded in with my original file. Now, I want to open it up. These are my layers inside the iPad document. So if I turn on this background here, now that goes black because I have an adjustment layer for the background for black. All right, and I put it into its own folder called background. So if I turn off the eye, it just goes white. I turn it back on, it's going to be dark again. Now go to the cell phone. I'm going to do the same thing for the cell phone. I'm going to make sure I'm inside that this cell phone, and again, it helps to be an artboard. So the cell phone artboard here, I'm going to go ahead and give this a new group. See, I'm inside the cell phone art. If I cascade that up, I want to make sure that's inside the cell phone. There we go. And let's open that up. There it is. There's my group. Okay. I'm going to double click that, call that background. And just so we can differentiate all of these, I'm going to make inside the background, I'm going to make an adjustment layer of not black, but a medium gray. See? So now we can start organizing layers inside each document, and it's going to be that simple, okay? So let's try it. Let's go to I'm going to go to the main file. We're going to start putting content from here and dragging it over to our other artboards. All right, so let's actually do it. Remember, these are not layers anymore. Cell phone and iPad are not layers, they're individual files. So if we come down here to the bottom where it says header, I'm going to delete that one. I duplicated that while you guys weren't watching, so I'm going to do it again. Here's my header, right? That's for the web design, or for the desktop. And I'm going to hit Command or Control J to duplicate it. Now I want to drag it inside the brand new file called iPad. So click and hold on the group. Make sure it's the inside, the whole iPad lights up. All right, and I should be able to just drop it right in there. See, right there. And I can, if I open up the iPad, there is my header copy. Target the header copy, and I can readjust it to place it where you want. All right, now let's go get the navigational links. target the navigational links, duplicate it, Command or Control J. It says copy, place it on top of header copy, and release it, and there it is. So this is what it's going to look like when you go to this format. So if I get in closer, let's hit Control plus. Because everything's being truncated, it's being moved over, and so you already can probably tell that you're going to have to redesign another image so that we get something a little more interesting, a little more accurate. So let's go up here to the header copy, open it up, grab the image here, and then we'll have to redesign another image so that it scrolls over like this. So I'm going to have to redesign the image so that it's going to fit this way. It's going to fit within that format, somewhere of that nature. Okay. So this is going to be on iPad, and of course the same thing for the thumbnails. We'll drag each one, and each thumbnail, let's see what it's going to look like. So we're going to have to redesign this thumbnail. And this is where it really gets interesting, because if we come over here to, let's go, navigational links are there. Let's go to the body, which is right here. And if we drag the whole body, let's duplicate the body. So Command or Control J. And if I drag the body inside the iPad, that's actually, there we go, put it right underneath there. Okay, you notice that these are not all fitting. So you're going to have to design this so that it's going to fit in a way that you know your viewer is going to be comfortable with. So we can't get 4 across. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to design this with maybe 2. And then 2, 2, and go all the way down. Okay? So if I'm clicking on the word iPad and pulling it up here. Let's go over to my properties panel. So it doesn't matter if it's longer, because when you're on the web, you can scroll vertically with no problem. What matters is that your graphics are right and that your text is going to be able to fit inside here. Basically, it's going to be responsive. Your text is going to basically resize down, because they're going to be inside responsive tables that's going to truncate or elongate depending on the size of the format. But your text will be small enough that it'll be able to navigate pretty easily the way that you need. But your thumbnails won't. So we're going to design your thumbnails in such a way for the iPad so that, let's go back over to the iPad here. We've got our, let's see, body copy, open it up, and we're going to start with layer group 1. And the first 2 are fine. The third one, we're going to, let's see if I can, there it is. We're going to place them like so. All right. I don't think I got all of them over there, but you guys get the point. So we're going to have 2. Let's see if I hit Command or Control and then tap on it. It'll take me directly to this particular group, and move it on over. And this is what we're going to do. So you'll have to elongate the iPad a little bit. Okay. So if we come over to, in fact, let's see if we come over here to our Artboard tool. I should be able to click on the iPad to activate it, the iPad symbol or the text, and just scroll it straight down without changing the horizontal dimensions. Right? You see where we're going? So this is what I want to see from you. So what I want you to do is design them for your desktop once again, design for your iPad or your mobile app, mobile tablet, I should say, and then design one for your cell phone. So obviously the cell phone is not going to take 2 of these. It's going to take a single. So it's going to be a single row going straight down. So you're going to design for each and every one of those. If you have to, it has to match your initial web design for your computer. So if you have to scroll this down more to fit in all of these thumbnail links, then do so. Okay. The same workflow is exactly the same for the cell phone. You'll probably have to redesign another graphic just for your cell phone up here, but that's fine. Okay. All right. So just work on that this week. As I mentioned, you've already have half of it done. So just finish laying it out in Photoshop. Organize it. Stay organized with these layer groups. I think that's going to be your friend. And once it's completed, come over and create your artboards. Okay. So take note that, remember, within the one file, which is the tutorial file that I did here, I created with the banner and the navigational links. This is one complete file. All right. But within that file, the artboard are two separate files, one for iPad and one right over here for cell phones. And within those files, they have their own links. So that's the best way I can explain what an artboard is. And yes, it is taking up more memory because you're working with individual files all embedded into one file. Yeah, you're taking up more RAM. But it's a very efficient way to work. So that's it, guys. Play with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Now, what I want you to do is save out a JPEG for each one. All right. If you want to screen capture it or something, you can, but you should be able to save your JPEG out for each one. In fact, let's actually go over that real quick. Say, for example, I want to target just the iPad. So I'm going to target the iPad here just by clicking on it. Come right over here to the right-hand side of your layers panel. Drop this down, your drop list. That's your hamburger. And there is an option for export as. Alt-Shift-Control. All right, Alt-Shift-Control, and I think that is a quote. Click it. It pops up, and there it is. What do you want to save it as? I want you guys to save it as a JPEG. Save it out, and put your name on it so I know so I can keep track of it, and upload that to your Canvas for your homework assignment section. Okay, so you're gonna have 3 uploads: one for your phone, one for your iPad, and one for your desktop. Okay, should be pretty easy, self-explanatory, pretty easy. It should be a fun assignment for everybody, actually, because now that you know what you want, now you're gonna put it into Photoshop in a very practical manner, where this all is going to become possible to export this out to a web page, a website. Okay. All right. So this week we're going to focus on doing the initial front page. The week after, we're going to focus on creating for the internal pages. But just focus on the front page for now, and we'll move on to the rest the following week. Have fun, everybody. Get on the forums. Help each other out. You guys are great about that. I love it when people come on and help each other. Okay, I try to get on there as quickly as I can if I'm not teaching, but I do get on there and answer questions and so forth. So, but help each other out. Have a lot of fun. And Steve Burns signing off.